Welcome back to Crypto Spaces, back with another Zora update for you guys. Zora right now starting to climb up from the lows. As we stated in our previous videos, like I said, it's smart to DCA. When Zora was down to 3.6 cents, that was a great time to start your DCA process. Right now, Zora is at 0.0443 cent, just under 4.5 cent, right? And before you know it, it's back to 5 cent, right? So if you DCA down, you didn't have 100,000 Zora, 25,000 to 100,000 Zora at the time, you got it a lot cheaper at 3.6 cent, right? You got it way cheaper at that at those prices, right? So you know, this is how you have to trade the market. This is how you have to be strategic, right? When there are dips, you buy the dips. You don't FOMO the green candles, guys. Never FOMO green candles, just buy dips, right? Especially if it's a project you have conviction in. Why am I bullish on Zora? Well, the social media landscape is pretty much ruled by, you know, a few oligarchs, a few tech companies that are, you know, have dominated for decades, or not decades, but years on end, at least a decade. You know, at least a decade they've dominated for. With for example, Meta, they own, you know, they own Instagram, they own Facebook, they own WhatsApp, and of course, you know, they own other like AI driven, you know, products as well, right? And that is a $1 trillion industry right there, right? With just Meta stock alone, that is a multi-trillion-dollar company, right? And I think Zora, as a disruptor in the cryptocurrency decentralized space, has, you know, at least the potential to get to 1 to 10% of Meta stock, right? Or the $1 trillion landscape. Zora has a chance to capture at least 1 to 10% of that, in my opinion. Social companies are always successful, and not always successful, but they, you know, if you take a look at Snapchat, TikTok, you know, YouTube, for example, you know, Instagram, Facebook, Rumble, Kick, Twitch. These social platforms have like this just domination of success. X on Twitter, Twitter, right? Elon with X. They have domination of human mindshare, human sociology, right? And in that case, a new social platform that, you know, helps creators make money as soon as they start posting is a disruptor, right? Now, Web3, like I said, a lot of people on crypto Twitter hate Zora, but that's the reason why I bid it. That's the reason why I buy it, because I'm going to do the opposite of what the herd thinks. And if I'm wrong, I'll live with the decision. If I'm right, I'm more than likely will make, you know, massive rewards or returns from being right. Now, again, Zora right now at 4.451 cent, just under 200 mil market cap, volume starting to pick up again, just under 42 million volume. And you know, Zora is set up in a great spot. Again, tokenomics aren't that terrible. You know, around 50% of the supply is out. You know, there's projects with just 10% of their supply out. So there's, again, circulating market cap, not terrible at all. Circulating supply, not terrible. So, you know, like I said, I think a great, you know, goal to have is to have 25,000 to 100,000 Zora, right? Because I have a target of $1 to $5 for Zora, right? $1 would put it at, you know, 4.46 billion in market cap, or 10 billion in FDV, right? And then $5 would put it at 50 billion FDV, or just under 25 billion in FDV, right? Maybe 22, 23 circulating FDV, I should say, right? So 25,000 Zora right now is $1,112. So with, you know, with a dollar Zora, you get 25,000 at $1, and obviously 100,000 at $1 per Zora, right? If you have 100,000 Zora coins, right? So, you know, it's really on your budget. Again, never invest more than you're willing to lose. Crypto is very risky. You can lose your money like in the snap of a finger. That's how tough this space is. But it's also very rewarding, because it's also very challenging, right? You get what you put in, you get what you work for, right? So again, anywhere from 25,000 to 100,000 Zora. If it's 50,000, you just, you know, again, take profits on the way up. But I truly think $1 to $5 Zora is very, you know, possible, right? We're gonna take a look at the RealGarryTan. This is a Zora from again, this is RealGarryTan. GarryTan is a billionaire. You've seen him with has a relationship with Sam Altman. Let me take a look at my Twitter real quick to show you guys this picture. He has multiple like interviews and podcasts with Sam Altman, right? GarryTan is an investor, has a company called Y Combinator, which is a multi-billion-dollar asset manager. You know, pretty much kind of similar to BlackRock. Not on the leagues of BlackRock with Larry Fink, but you know, just think of BlackRock. But GarryTan owns, you know, maybe a 50-cent company. So think of BlackRock as a company that is an investment fund. They invest in startups, etc. So GarryTan has a company like that. So it's like a mini BlackRock, right? So, you know, GarryTan is pretty much a billionaire. You know, as you know, time progresses, he already has above a $300 million net worth, right? So as time progresses, he's pretty much a billionaire. As you can see right here, this is him and Sam Altman. If you guys don't know, Sam Altman is the founder of ChatGPT and OpenAI. Like, come on, you see how many people are using ChatGPT every day now. It's like a part of their lives. AI is literally intertwining with everyone's lives, right? So GarryTan and Sam Altman have like a friendship relationship, like, you know, not pause, not like that type of relate. Get your mind out of the gutter. They are they are like, you know, they have a lot of interviews and podcasts together. So, you know, both of them probably like interact with each other, like, you know, a lot in this, you know, investment sphere, right? So here is GarryTan with Sam Altman. So this is the tokenized version of GarryTan. This is the RealGarryTan coin on Zora, right? So in my opinion, okay, why would I not buy some of a you know, a billionaire's tokenized, you know, version of themselves, right? BlackRock, Larry Fink says tokenize everything, right? So in my opinion, if there was ever going to be a possibility for $1 billion project in 2026 or, you know, 2027, whenever, right? If there's ever going to be $1 billion creator coin, because I believe in creator coins, I think they're going to be the next wave, like we saw with meme coins, I would invest in the billionaire's creator coin. I would buy some of the billionaire's creator coin. It's not a crazy thesis. It's just simple. He's a billionaire. He got money. he's rich as heck. You know, there's a community surrounding it. There, you know, he has utility for the coin. If you buy 1% of the supply, you could get in contact with Garry. You could get Zoom calls and meet him in person to, you know, if you have a startup that you're building, like you're developing a project, you just want to get some knowledge, you just want to get some insight. So there's utility for the coin as well too. And in my opinion, it's like, well, if he's a billionaire, bro, he could take this to billions of market cap. Us, him and the community, us as the holders could take this to $1 billion in market cap. I don't see why not, right? If we saw meme coins with just a picture of an animal got to billions in market cap because of the community, imagine you have a massive community and also a billionaire backing the project, okay? You know, it kind of like seems like a no-brainer here. So we had to pull back down to below 3 mil market cap. Then instantly we shot up today at 50%, right? So if you didn't buy the dip, right, you know, obviously you should always buy dips. I should have covered it on the dip so to let you guys know, but I'm making so many videos, kind of got sidetracked. But you know, you could have bought 100,000 tokens for like under 3 mil market cap, so under $300, right? Now you could get 100,000 for under $500. So $500 in the RealGarryTan gets you 100,000 coins. I think that's a great investment. With the success of Zora, you're gonna see the Zora ecosystem explode. RealGarryTan is peered to Zora, and with the success of GarryTan, you're gonna see Zora explode, right? It's a simple, you know, it's a simple flywheel. Projects or creator coins on the Zora ecosystem does well, Zora does well. Zora does well off its own, you know, fees and everything that is generating, you know. Zora does well off the fees and everything is generating. The ecosystem does well. So it's pretty much the, you know, the one of the best flywheels. Everybody talks about flywheels. It's one of the best flywheels that we've seen in the space, right? So as always, none of this is financial advice. 25,000 to 100,000 Zora, 100,000 RealGarryTan coins, you're off to the races to, you know, potentially make 6 figures in your portfolio off the Zora creator economy, right? Like and subscribe. None of this is financial advice. Thank you.